Janet Kuypers.
Yeah.
I figured I had to show up today because I'm going to do a song in two pieces. I hope that's okay.
Oh, no, nice.
Well, because she asked. So. I had to show up because I don't know if I'll be able to be here next month because I will be at the men's clay court championships in Houston for a couple weekends next month. So I don't think I will be here. I'm like, I have to come because I have to share so many things with you guys. Like next Tuesday, which happens to be World Poetry Day.
Yes.
I happened to find out about this because for the magazine, I'm an editor from one of the guys that publishes with me, says in the UK, hey, I'm doing a show on World Poetry Day on March 21st, 321. And I thought, that's so unfair that there's nothing in Austin going on for World Poetry Day. So I managed to get the good people at Half Price Books to give me a spot. So if you are like me and unemployed and would like to come to Half Price Books just on the street on Lamar, on 321 from 1 to 3. We're going to be reading it. Love to have many features. I've even got a Facebook event listing for it, and I would love to see you. First things first, because Robin specifically asked for this song, which was my husband's music and my poem, it feels strange to sing it without having John playing the guitar. This is called Made Me Different. So I'm at my bar, my favorite hangout, and I just overheard from people talking that another guy who's always here in the past few months has had a few strokes. And now this is just grapevine. I just heard snippets, but I need to see him, put in my 2 cents. He went out for a smoke, and even though I don't, I walked up to him after he lit up. I reached my hand out toward his cigarette. He offered me a new one. I reached my hand out toward his cigarette. He offered me a new one, but I wanted his. Then holding his smoke, I told him that I heard. I spoke of his wife, asked about his kids. And I don't really want to get on a high horse here, but we care for him, we want him happy. He said I was right, and he'll take some time off. Then holding his smoke, he said that he should quit. He handed me his smoke and then walked away. I had reached my hand out toward his cigarette. He offered me a new one. I had reached my hand out toward his cigarette. He offered me a new one, but I wanted his. Ba-dum-ba-dum-bum, ba-dum-ba-bum, ba-dum-ba-dum-bum, ba-dum-ba-bum. I stood there a while, sucking nicotine, wondering if I made any difference. Ba-dum-ba-dum-bum, ba-dum-ba-bum, ba-dum-ba-dum-bum, ba-dum-ba-bum. I reached my hand out toward his cigarette. He offered me a new one. I had reached my hand out toward his cigarette. He offered me a new one, but I wanted his. Ba-dum-ba-dum-bum, ba-dum-ba-bum, ba-dum-ba-dum-bum, ba-dum-ba-bum. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's better with music. But in light of that, because of that, I'm going to read something from the last book of anything I had ever written in Chicago. This is a year worth of poetry shows that I had done there, and these are materials from it. This show that I did at Poetry's Love Letter, I asked John, hey, will you bring the guitar? I just randomly play stuff. Well, I'm writing new stuff. And so he just walks up, and at the beginning of the show I say, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, every poem in this show is a love poem for John. And he was like, what? It's like, now I'm supposed to play something? What? So I'm going to read one of them for you here, and that is called Jihadists and Astrophysics. I know gangs in Chicago shoot people on the streets. I know terrorists fly airplanes into buildings, set off bombs in basements. I know jihadists chop off the heads of anyone who doesn't believe the way they do. I know these high-rises I adore will one day crumble and be reduced to the dust from which we came. I know the sun one day will swell to touch the only earth we know, incinerating our only home. I know anything I say may only be a shout into a void. But I also know that I love you, and that love transcends the killing, the destruction. I've loved you since before I was born. This is why I am so lucky that I found you. And there may be gunfire, there may be explosions, buildings may crumble. Our Earth's oceans won't save us from the red giant sun. But what I have for you, this love I have for you, this love transcends all. It has existed, it does exist, it will always exist. You may believe that there are too many things we need to save ourselves from, but we have one constant we cannot forget. My love for you has existed, it does exist, it will always exist. My love for you will outlast the beheadings, rise above the explosions, transcend the destruction. My love for you transcends the jihadists. It transcends astrophysics. It transcends the earth, the stars. It transcends the elements that make you and I. It makes the universe itself. My love for you will always transcend. Anxious over there because I did that. I love you, honey. This is a piece called Elusive Imaginary Creature. So I've got a friend who has this problem and they don't know if they should see a doctor. So my friend thinks her husband is cheating on her. What should she do? So I've got a friend who wants to kill their boss, but they don't want to get fired and they don't know what to do. We've all heard these stories before, and we're probably all used to the line before too, saying, I've got this friend, when you're really talking about yourself. This elusive imaginary creature is from a line we've all used because we're too afraid to say, we've got a problem. Too afraid to share. And think of it, what if this elusive imaginary creature was real and had all these problems we ascribe to just to get advice? Horrible job, cheating spouse, mounting debt, backstabbing friend, a lump under the skin. They'd be a basket case. So why do we do it? Why do we share problems in the third person to get some assistance instead of asking for a hand? I know we all think we're tough as nails, we've got it all under control. So maybe it's because we've created this persona and don't want to shatter the image we've created to the rest of the world. We've created this card house, this delicate card house, and we don't want to see it fall down. So we say, I've got this friend, this creature, this elusive imaginary creature, because look at our lives. Look at what we've made. We surely don't want to shatter this image we've created for us and for the rest of the world.